And another misconception is that you need to have a physical venue to be able to teach. And sometimes when they ask me, where are you located? They want to go and see the actual building to decide whether or not they're going to take the course. And I believe that some people have huge buildings, like nice venues, but their programs are not that good.
Do you ever wish you could quit your job and pursue your dreams? Maybe that lingering business idea that's been in the back of your head? This isn't another series about million-dollar ideas. Bizpirations features stories of everyday people just like you, people just like me, but the difference is they chose to take a chance. 99% of people will stay exactly where they are. These are the 1%, the other 1% that chose to be different. Let's dive in. Carla, thank you for welcoming me into your home this morning, and really excited to learn about your journey from real estate agent to virtual school owner.
All right. No, thank you for coming.
And before we dive into that journey, what's a story that's relevant that the audience needs to know?
Well, when I was 12 years old and I graduated from primary school, my father gave me a very special present, and it was this dictionary. And I thought at first, who in the world gives a dictionary as a graduation present to his daughter? Well, he did. And at first I was like, how boring, it doesn't have pictures or anything like that. But then I started reading and I found that words have like a pronunciation that you should learn about. And they had different meanings, and they can combine with different prepositions to have different connotations. So that amazed me, and I started reading the dictionary and taking notes, and I think that gave me the motivation to learn English and then teach English to other people.
Would you say your father was pretty inspirational and influential for you throughout your life?
Yeah, he loved English himself, and he thought that English was an asset for me and for my siblings. And even though my mother didn't speak English at all, she helped us to pursue our dreams, and she took us to all the English classes and everything. So both parents for me were inspiring, yeah.
And where in Costa Rica are you from?
San Jose. Yeah, I grew up in Tibas, and then we moved to Santo Domingo, and I've been living in Santo Domingo since then.
And where else have you lived? Have you ever lived out of the country, or you spent most of your time here in Costa Rica?
Most of the time here in Costa Rica, but I travel a lot. I think it's important because if you travel to places where they speak English, you learn a lot, like about culture, but also about different phrases that you will never come up with here in Costa Rica. So I think traveling is very important when you're teaching and learning a language. But I live here. Most of my life I've been here.
Are there any phrases that stick out in your head from your travels that are particularly unique, or that you like or use all the time?
Well, some of the adjectives native people use when they describe things, one I got from a Canadian lady is humongous. When things are quite big, I said, that's humongous, right? So those words you don't really find on textbooks. So yeah, for phrases and adjectives and nouns that you can use, that you learn from listening to others.
And what were some of the jobs that you had before you got into teaching? What was the first job that you ever had growing up?
Mm-hmm. Well, since I spoke English, I started helping my mother as a real estate agent. She took people to different places to watch the land and the houses, and I was a translator. And actually, I became interested in real estate. And later I thought, well, I like it, but it's not, the thing is not making money, is doing what you really like, what you really love, and maybe influencing in other people's lives is like more, it's filling your life rather than selling a piece of land or a house.
So at what point did you realize that teaching was the route you wanted to go down?
Maybe when I was like 20 years old, I thought that I needed to focus on my teaching skills and becoming a teacher. But you know what? When I was 15, there was a girl that lived close to my house, and she wanted to learn English, but she didn't have the means. I mean, she didn't have the money. And I told her, okay, come to my house every Saturday and I will teach you English. I took my father's books and tapes and a big tape recorder. She came to my house every single Saturday morning, I remember, and we sat there and started teaching her. And then when I think back, I mean, I was a teacher since I was 15 years old, but I didn't realize it until I was 20.
And do you still stay in touch with her? Do you know what that girl is doing now?
No, I don't know where she is. I don't know what she did with her life, but the last thing I knew that she got a scholarship from the University of Costa Rica, which is great, a 100% scholarship. And I hope she can speak English very well. I mean, yeah.
And so, you decide when you're 20, I want to be a teacher. Assuming you can't just walk into a school, say, hey, I'm Carla, I want to teach here. What do you have to do?
Of course, I attended the university for a couple of years. I graduated as a licensed English teacher, but I thought that was not enough. Of course, education here in Costa Rica is very good, but I thought that I needed something else. And then that's when I started investigated what else I could do for myself and for my students. And I found different programs abroad from international universities, well-known institutions that could help me first, and then I could help students achieve goals with those companies, those institutions. So I started doing things for myself, training myself, and then I was able to train my students.
And so how long did you teach, and were you in a public school or a private school?
Mm-hmm. No, I've always taught at private institutions.
Private schools. And how long did you do that until you decided to start North Summit Education?
Well, I wish I could have thought about this earlier in my life, but I taught for almost 20 years. I mean, I do not regret it because I learned lots of skills. I got new ideas from my experience with kids, with teenagers. Then I was a teacher at university. So I don't regret that, but what I do regret is not having maybe the guts to start this before.
And what was there a specific event or what happened that made you decide, you know what, I'm leaving teaching and I'm going to start my own school?
Well, it was a prize that I got from Cambridge Assessment in 2016. And I thought, well, if I did this, I can do amazing things. But I don't have the time working for a school. I mean, planning my lessons and having meetings with parents and all extracurricular activities. So I need to quit to focus on this and help more people, help teachers, help professionals and kids. So I did it.
And take me to the day where you walked into the principal's office and said, hey, I'm leaving here, and what did people react and what did they say?
Well, I remember that day as if it were yesterday. She told me, are you sure? I mean, it's difficult out there working by yourself. You're not going to have a fixed salary by the end of the month. You don't have the stability that a company like ours gives you. Are you sure about that? And I was not sure. I hesitated, but I told her, yes, I'm sure that's what I want to do. And I'm going to prove to myself and to everyone else that it's possible, even though I didn't have like a physical venue, I didn't have equipment, I didn't have money to invest, but I had the ideas and I had my own skills and of course God's help.
So tell us, what is North Summit Education?
Okay, North Summit Education is a virtual school training people who want to learn English or also they want to polish their skills, maybe that they had already acquired. They need to polish their skills or they have to certify their English to show what they can understand, what they can write, what they can speak to the world. So we help them obtaining international certifications from prestigious institutions such as Cambridge and Oxford or Pearson. And they can use what they achieve for further education or for their own training purposes or to work here in Costa Rica or abroad.
And what's the advantage of the Cambridge test methodology system versus some of the other ones that are available out there?
Okay, yeah. Well, Cambridge is a well-known university around the world, and they have decided that they should tell the world how to speak English. Because imagine, English is spoken around the world, and if here in Costa Rica we decide to speak English as we wish, and in France they decide to do it as they wish, so imagine the language will be lost, and that they can certify the way English should be spoken. They issue the certificates for a lifetime, so you don't have to take the certification again, like other institutions or certifications. And the exams are well developed, well supported, and they are complex. So if you have a certificate from Cambridge, for instance, you can show that you understand English and speak it up to a certain level, right? So students can prove to the world that they are an A1 or A2, B1, B2, C1, or C2, a master's. And we have obtained C2 certifications with our students.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. How many students do you think you've had over the 11 years that you've been doing this?
Yeah, that number, I do not have it, but we have trained over maybe 150 teachers, English teachers, to have teaching qualifications from Cambridge. And students, I don't know, more than 1,000 maybe.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And how did you come up with the name North Summit Education?
Yeah, that's a good question, and everyone asks me about that. Well, I thought about the word north, right? Because you always need a north, you need to know where you're going. Summit, because summits are usually when you're in a summit, you can see what's around you. You have a wide view of everything. And I thought, okay, yeah, I know where I'm going. I'm going to be on the top, so let's call it North Summit. And I didn't want to North Summit School include the word school because the school is, it's not comprehensive, the term. So I thought education, because maybe I'm going to start with English, but I'm going to grow and include some other aspects, topics, subjects, areas. So that's how I came up with the name North Summit Education.
That's great. And what did it take to get started? So you left your teaching job and now you're starting a school, an education institute. What are the first steps? Like if I wanted to do this, tell me what to do.
Okay, first, you need to be trained as an English teacher, right? Because you cannot train others if you don't have your qualifications. Start teaching with love and passion, right? Not because of the money, because if you do it just for the money, then you're not going to be successful, right? So love your students, love what you do. I think it's quite important and crucial to investigate, to search for different methodologies, search for different options, to be creative, right? And to keep moving. Don't say, I'm okay like this with one group. No, keep moving. I mean, I can have 2 groups, maybe not 3 groups, but I can hire somebody. I can train somebody to teach the way I want with the program that I want, and start like expanding what you do, but to a certain point, because if you cannot handle it anymore, then you're going to compromise quality, and that's where you know you need to stop.
So what was your first group? Was it always virtual, or how did you start teaching?
Well, no, it was not virtual. It was on site. I rented a class in a school. And then some people get to know that I was teaching and they wanted me to teach them, but they had different levels. Not all of them were the same level. So I need to open another course and another course. So I had 3 different groups on site. And 2 years before the pandemic, I realized that I needed to provide my students with technology, right? Not only what they did with me in class, but they can move forward faster if they had like extra practice at home whenever they could, right? So I included a platform for them to practice. And some people ask me, I want your training programs, but I live in Punta Arenas, but I live in Guanacaste, I live in Limon. And of course, it was difficult for me to travel to every single place. So I said, no, we're going to have the classes online. And we're going to use a platform for online classes. This is going to be the platform. These are going to be the dates, and you're going to join, and I'm going to be there, and I'm going to teach you. And I started the online teaching 2 years before the pandemic. So when the pandemic arrived, I already had experience. So it was not difficult at all, right? And people realized the importance of online training, because before the pandemic, they thought it was not important, they thought it was not effective. But after the pandemic, people realized how effective this is.
Let's go into some of the milestones that you've had. So maybe say like 3 different milestones and what it took for you to get there.
What it took me to get there, I resigned. Since I didn't have money to invest, I started with whatever I had. Training teachers to become part of my teaching staff, because I do not hire just anyone. Our center tells parents that all of our teachers and trainers are Cambridge certified. So it was difficult to find teachers who wanted to train and take the test. Not only the level of English, their level of English certified, but also their teaching skills. So our trainers are certified by Cambridge TKT, which is Teaching Knowledge Test. Different modules, they take the test and they become certified as teachers by Cambridge. So that means that they can teach wherever they want in the world, because they are internationally certified as English teachers. And then I trained them to become certified with their level of English. And I had my teaching staff. I could hire the people I trained myself, and I knew they were good. not only as professionals, but also like good people, because we work with kids, right? So you cannot ask anyone to teach kids, right? You need to ask someone who's nice, who's polite, who's patient, who has high moral values, right? Then winning the prize was another milestone. Then I got a scholarship from Cambridge. It was a very expensive course that I wanted to take for some time. But I told myself, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to save money for 5 years, and then I'm going to take the course. But I was nominated to have a scholarship. I did whatever it took, the essays, I sent all the information. And when I got the news that I got the scholarship, I was, well, on cloud 9, right? Because it was so expensive, and now I got it for free. I did my best on the course. I got a 99% out of 100, and I went to Cambridge to train for some time and to graduate there. In fact, that program gave North Summit the opportunity to teach for some certifications that nobody else can give here in Costa Rica, like CELT P or CELT S, or EMI skills for university teachers. We are the only ones that can do that here in Costa Rica.
What is CELT? P-A,
and CELT S, yeah, those names are. CELT is a certification for teachers. CELT P is for primary school teachers, and CELT S is for secondary teachers. CELT A, or how people call it CELTA, is for adults. So that's an English qualification, an English teaching qualification that provides anyone as a teacher the opportunity to specialize in like a certain group of students, a certain age. And it gives the teacher the opportunity to work anywhere else in the world, yeah.
So aside from the courses that you teach virtually, what other kind of programs does North Summit offer?
Well, we offer cultural and language immersion in different countries around the world. For instance, the students can go to London, to Canada, to United States, to Dubai, even Spain, to train for different skills like soft skills or STEAM. And they can spend 2 weeks there, not just learning English, but maybe developing something they like football. For instance, my daughter is traveling to London in January, and she's taking the Leaders of Tomorrow program, which is a program that teaches her to speak in public, to shoot videos with a famous YouTuber. And she's going to have like sessions, individual sessions with the dean of a university to have some kind of advice on what she can do for her future. And it's going to be a milestone for her because she's about to graduate and she doesn't know what to do. She's been thinking on what to study, and I think that this program is going to give her the insights she needs to decide what she's going to do. And it's very unfair for a 17-year-old to decide at that age what they want to do for the rest of their lives. So I guess this is going to open her eyes to different experiences, different things that will help her a lot, together with 20 other students. So it's going to be great for all of them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think, when I look back at when I was 17, I think I've probably had, 8 or 9 different jobs up until where I am now. So I think, even when you look at your case, like, it's okay to do something for a little while and then shift.
Exactly, and I told her, okay, don't start at university right away. You can take some time, some months to do whatever you want. You can travel, and then, she's going to be studying and working for the rest of her life. So I mean, take a break.
Yeah, live it
Yeah,
up.
exactly. And students with us can travel to different places. For example, if they go to Spain, they have flamenco lessons and cooking lessons. You know, food is delicious in Spain. And we have a program in Singapore. It is a competition. It's called Green Technology and City of Tomorrow, where students learn how to use technology in a way to save the environment. So they are trained how to reduce, how to clean water, how to grow in vertical farms, and then they're given a challenge, and then they have to develop an idea to do certain things. So it's going to be awesome for them. They're going to travel in July, and well, those experiences are very valuable for students. They come thinking one way, and when they come back, they're thinking totally different. So I guess it's a great experience for everyone.
And throughout this process of when you first opened up North Summit until now, are there any mistakes that you've made, and what did you do to overcome those?
Well, mistakes, yes, not being or having the guts to start this earlier, right? Maybe when I was younger. It's not that I feel old. I know that I have so many years to come to improve what I do and to achieve higher goals. But maybe not starting this earlier, not becoming certified when I was younger, right? That is maybe not a mistake, but a drawback, right? Like something that I regret.
So, Carla, in the years that you've had your school, what's been your proudest accomplishment?
Well, besides the 2016 Cambridge Awards, we recently won this, like the first place on the British Olympics in London. It was an amazing experience, not only for students, but also for me as a trainer, because it took us like 6 months to get prepared for this Olympics, and motivating teenagers is sometimes not an easy task, right? And motivating them to do things that they're not used to do, like a play, like pretending they're someone else, like talking about a topic they're not comfortable about. This is an achievement for them as students, but for me as a trainer as well.
Definitely quite the accomplishment. How many other teams were there?
Well, at the beginning, there were like 25 colleges divided into 4 different houses, and each house competed among themselves, right? In our house, there were like 6 different schools, and only 2 went to the semifinals. Yeah, and we competed against schools in Egypt, and different places in Latin America, Mexico, Uruguay, Brazil. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And when you look at North Summit education and virtual learning, what are some misconceptions about that, but also, you know, your program in particular?
Okay, yeah. One of the first misconceptions that I always hear from people, from parents, is that you need native speakers as teachers to teach students to learn English as a second language. So they always ask me, are your teachers native speakers? And my answer is no, they're not native speakers, but they are teachers certified by Cambridge University, and their level of English is a C1 or a C2. And another misconception is that you need to have a physical venue to be able to teach. And sometimes when they ask me, where are you located? They want to go and see the actual building to decide whether or not they're going to take the course. And I believe that some people have huge buildings, like nice venues, but their programs are not that good. So that is one of the misconceptions, that you need to see things to be able to judge whether the programs are high quality or not.
I think you can just hold up your trophy and say, is this physical enough for you?
Yeah.
And so looking back, I guess Carla today, talking to Carla just after she walked out of the principal's office, handing in her resignation letter, what advice would you give yourself?
What advice would I give myself? More than an advice, I would congratulate myself, because it has not been easy. So I would tell myself, you knew that you could do it, and you can still grow, and you can still do more things for people, for teachers, for students, for their future. I would congratulate myself.
And what about for someone who's listening or watching this, and maybe they have a business they want to start, or they've been thinking about it? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to do it for love, to do the best they can, not to do it for money, because when you do things for money, then you're gonna look for the low quality products or whatever gives you more profit, and that is not what leads you to success. Is when people understand that what you do and the final product you obtain is the best, that is what is gonna give you success. Maybe little by little, but you'll get there.
And what does success look like for Carla on a personal, professional level?
Okay, success for me is having time to do what I like, besides teaching, of course. And I like to help people learn about the Bible. So when I was teaching full time, I didn't have time for that. And now I'm still working, of course. I work hard, but I have more time to teach people about the promises in the Bible and how the Bible can help them become better husbands, better wives, better children, better workers. And I have time for that. And I feel accomplished, and I feel successful.
And just before we wrap up here, if people want to take your courses, how do we get in touch with you?
We're building our new website. I hope this website would be effective for people to understand what we do and to enroll in any of the courses. But now they can contact me through WhatsApp. It's the number is 8NSE info. That's the number. And they can write to info@northsummit.education.
Carla, thank you for having me here today. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of you. I'm sure you come down to Capos, we'll get together. And it was really interesting learning about North Summit Education and your journey, and just can't thank you enough for welcoming me into your house today. Thank you for watching this episode of Bizpirations. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you're ready when the next episode comes out in 2 weeks. We'll see you then.